sees me, I'm losing every battle. No one ever sees me, I'm losing every battle. Can somebody save me, I'm losing every battle.
We collide, we break down, caving in to our doubts. Faces filled with sadness. When words are said, we'll regret. I can see the fire that we made just to save us. When we try to make up for never letting go. Said the things we promised not to say, then we break up just to start all over, even though we know this is the hard way to better. We can't be heartache together. This is the hard way to better. We can't be heartache together. This is the hard way to better. We can't be heartache together. This is the hard way to better. Let our fears hold us. Let's go back, let's start again. To a place a long time ago when I kissed your lips. I can see the fire that we made just to save us. When we try to make up for never letting go. Said the things we promised not to say, then we break up just to start all over, even though we know this is the hard way to better. We can't be heartache together. This is the hard way to better. We can't be heartache together. This is the hard way. This is the hard way.
I wanna close my eyes and go back, play it in my mind. A movie of us two, yeah, we were happy at the time. Can't remember what it felt like. We used to be so strong. That picture perfect sky now looks so gray cold. We've been laying here since 4 a.m. and you haven't haven't said a word to me. Silent treatment, is this what it feels like when your heart is aching, when it bleeds? If it's over, just say it out loud. Say those words, go ahead, just shout it out. Just be honest, be a man right now. Say it's over, if it's over. Do you remember when we went to Paris in July? Got stuck out in the rain, but we danced around and didn't mind it. So young and reckless, baby, you and I fit just like a glove, but I guess that's over now. We've been laying here since 4 a.m. and you haven't said a word to me. Silent treatment, is this what it feels like when your heart is aching, when it bleeds? If it's over, just say it out loud. Say those words, go ahead, just shout it out. Just be honest, be a man right now. Say it's over, if it's over. If it's over, just say it out loud. Say those words, go ahead, just shout it out. Just be honest, be a man right now. Say it's over, if it's over. We've been laying here since 4 a.m. Silent treatment, is this what it feels like? If it's over, just say it out loud. Say those words, go ahead, just shout it out. Just be honest, be a man right now. Say it's over, if it's over.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Steven here, and we're getting back with another episode today of the Lucid gaming stream. Today is going to be the episode 1 of our. We're actually going to be doing the storyboarding and kind of getting some of the story together and kind of moving forward as I talked about in the last episode there, where I was just kind of introducing all the different pieces that we have right now, doing a basic introduction of everything. So we're going to go ahead and just hop right in. Right now I've got my friend Buick, who's been a big friend of mine through all the gaming through the years. Buick.
Hello there.
Buick. So there's Buick. He's going to kind of help us out. He'll probably pop out here midway through this stream, but I guess he'll still be active then in the chat. So
Yes, certainly will be.
So yeah, let's go ahead and just dive right into this. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what we have for our current stream. So, or for our current storyboard. So right now we kind of went through a very rough bit. And as you can see here, I've got everything in Story Planner, which is the app that I've been using for the most part through this. So as you can see here, Story Planner. But I'm going to show you guys the game design document sheet that we're actually going to be using. Not that one, this one here. So this is Nuclino. And this is a great app that I've just recently gotten into and gotten hip to, especially with all the different people that are a part of this. So it's great because when you have multiple people working on a game, you're actually able to intravenously work on a project. I mean, it doesn't have to be a game. It can be any sort of work-related project, creative project. It allows everybody to kind of have their own pieces, but all put it into the same document, so that way everybody can be a part of what's going on and not necessarily have to be there. Saves everybody a lot of meeting time, because I don't know about you, Buick, but I sure as heck get tired of being on the phone as much as I have to be.
I don't think I have to be on as much as you, but I certainly don't like it.
Yeah, it happens. That's one thing I've noticed more, is that it's less creation and more collaboration in these types of projects to really kind of get things moving. So overall, I've imported here the basic bits into the game design document that we have. But I'm going to set aside my main keyboard here on this, and we're going to actually switch over here and continue to write this thing inside of the file that I've already been writing it. Just so that way then whenever I transition all this information from one to the next, it'll be a lot easier and a little bit more coherent, because instead of breaking things up, wasting a bunch of time here on the stream, just copying and pasting will save everybody all of that nonsense, and I can do that on my own time. So let's go ahead and show you guys what we have here. So if you guys go ahead and look up here, I'm going to go ahead, we're going to get started on episode 4. Now, episode 4, in episode 2, the first boss that we end up facing that isn't them is actually going to be Daddy Teddy. So let me go ahead and pop up Sketchfab, and I will show you guys just again more than just like I did last night, kind of show you guys who it is that we're going to be fighting and going through in this. So over here on our wrong one again. So you'll see here is our evil version of Daddy Teddy, and a very, very rough storyline that goes along with that, and we'll get into more in-depth pieces once we kind of get these main points. That way we can get dialogues and points of reference and all that kind of in there. So there's Daddy Teddy in his evil state. Here's Daddy Teddy inside of his good state. After you fight him and beat him as an evil guy, he turns into this more fluffy, lovable character. And again, I want to thank Balu CG for this creation. It's very simple, but it is perfect for what it is that at least we need for this game. So it doesn't have to be simple, or doesn't have to be complex. Just works. All right, so we will. Let me go ahead and switch back over now. So here we have our storyline for Daddy Teddy, just to kind of ramp everybody into a point of reference that we have. So Luke stays up after his fight with them, and he goes and he puts in the same game again to try to see if he can bring them out and save his sister, realizing that it's not going to be that easy, and so he's going to actually have to fight through these different worlds. And I think at this point he'll be realizing that, because it'll bring him into this world that he's completely never been a part of. It'll be something new and different, and it'll be, yes, it's unlike anything he's ever experienced, which anybody who hasn't done any sort of lucid dreaming and had for the first time, it kind of feels the same way. So, which is the point of Lucid, the game title. So these are like very lucid dream worlds, just to kind of give everybody the basic gist. So, and he obviously looks around, strange new world, but his whole goal is to save Susie, because Susie's been taken by them, and that's our point of the game is to create a place where he'll be able to save his sister and actually and learn a few things along the way. So he'll go through this world. He's gonna encounter all the minions. He's gonna be introduced to different enemies that are a part of each world. And again, we've explained that each in the last episode that each world that we go in and out of has its own mechanics and its own kind of physics to each world, because they're not the same. So why would they have the same physics? Essentially, multiple games and multiple mechanics inside of this game, which is going to be the more difficult part to incorporate. So he runs across his first major encampment of enemies. That's where we kind of get the introduction to how he has to fight and save, and it'll be very new to him. So that's where he runs into this person that I've kind of coined as our farmer NPC, our helpless farmer NPC, who kind of gives him the information on what has happened to the world that he is inside of at that point, letting him know that this was just a humble farming community, and then all of a sudden it turned into this scenario where everything was not as happy and hunky-dory, and it's been infected again by them. Now that'll lead us up into the first quest that the farmer will send us on, and then through that we will go through different NPCs. We're gonna find different items, quests, fetch quests, and those kinds of little things, as well as leveling up your character, fighting off bad areas, clearing areas, so that way you can finally get to the boss area. And that is where Luke will then end up fighting Daddy Teddy. They'll go through the cutscenes, and anybody who is familiar with the cinematics inside of the video games, that's actually one thing I will have to get help with, as that is not something that I personally have much experience in at all. I don't have much experience in the whole aspect of video game creation, but animation, one thing where I lack, and we will be getting outside help for that kind of stuff. So if you are somebody who can help and who is even interested in it, please feel free to reach out and contact me on any of my platforms here. I'll also have a description later on on the YouTube channel that will have all of any other contact information if you are interested in actually being a part of this. So let's go ahead and continue on. So they'll go through, they'll fight. Luke will end up winning that fight, just depending on the player, on how long that takes. Because none of these are going to be easy, but this is no Elden Ring either. For anybody who's played Elden Ring, extremely difficult. But I personally like the game. I know I know that Slayer's fantastic at it. Buick, I don't know about you, but
I haven't played it, but it is a game I would play.
Yeah. It's definitely a fun, difficult, Dark Souls style game. I'm sure everybody's seen at this point for the most part. So we then after that fight, them actually appears in this world after you free it, essentially by defeating Daddy Teddy, and he'll leave this world that you're in, and he'll actually bounce into a different game world. Now that world will actually be that storyline on where them ends up is going to be driven by our store clerk in the video game store, that you actually have to go into the real world and acquire, do again fetch quests and odd jobs, save and earn money, so that way you can buy the next game that you need to save your sister for. And at the game store, you'll be able to buy all kinds of plushes and different pieces that help. You can modify your room and that kind of stuff. So that's one aspect that we're going to be trying to go for. Something you can show off your friends and have them come and hang out at your house, in your room, and do that kind of stuff. So now we're gonna go ahead now when and that'll actually, all of that will lead us into episode 3. Now in episode 3, that's where Luke actually wakes up from what some would call a nightmare, others would just call a dream. Just depends on your interpretation of that. And what he'll end up doing, he's gone through a lot over the last night. This is all of these first 2 episodes have actually transpired in the course of like 12 hours. And it's the next morning, actually. So, from the start of the game, it will be when he gets let out of school for summer. He does all of his stuff. He goes through this, and then he wakes up the next day. And we've done everything that we've gotten to this point. So, after that, Luke wakes up. He's very confused. He's not sure what happened. He's not even sure if this is real. He rushes over to the room. And again, cinematics, people. This is where it really, really, really would help out. And again, we've gone through. I've copywritten all these episodes as we've gone through, and we'll continue to do so. That way, we can continue make this game ours, and that way nobody can kind of take the ideas that we are creating here. So now we have. Luke has to then, he rushes over to his sister's room. He realizes that everything that did happen actually happened, and that this is a reality for him. So now he has to think about what he needs to do. He's asking some of his best friends for help. They kind of look at him like he's crazy. The popular kid is all of a sudden saying a bunch of crazy stuff, and who's typically not used to saying that kind of stuff. And obviously nobody's very believing of a situation like that right away. It usually takes a bit of convincing. So he ends up realizing he's kind of on his own for a good portion of this. Now, he's going through, he thinks everything that happened and what he needs to do. So he realizes that it has infected one video game. What would stop him from doing more? So he rushes over to the game store to ask the clerk if he saw anything, and realizes that he saw something funny and it happened over there, and he points out to a certain game. And we'll get into the specifics of the names of these games and that kind of stuff, a little bit more trivial at this point. But he will then, tell him that, something happened weird and this stuff was out of place. And then Luke realizes and puts 2 and 2 together that them must have been a part of that. So he needs to go and get that game, and then he realizes he doesn't have any money. The game store clerk notices that as well and is actually willing to help him out because he needs to have some odd jobs done. So that leads us into some of our first real world kind of quests that we have to start doing. So then he goes through, he does some chores for the guy around the house, around his house, cleaning up leaves, cleaning up things, fixing things, running to the grocery store and getting food home before ice cream melts and that kind of stuff. So that way, you're forced to a timeline. Then he has a neighborhood bully that he actually has to fight, but then he realizes that somewhere through his first encounter in this Lucid game world that he actually picked up a couple of things that he didn't know that he could do through this Lucid game world, through fighting styles and different things. And he actually has this whole new confidence about him with this bully that he didn't have even just the day before, because he's got this determination to save his sister. So the neighborhood bully doesn't seem so daunting when some mythical being has taken your sister from you. Those neighborhood bullies seem quite trivial at that point. So Luke gets him out of the way and has a small fight that the bully ends up losing, which will be a reoccurring theme through the real world portion of this. And then he finishes his quest. He finally goes back to the store and he runs home. And he goes and he puts in this game and he realizes, and then it sucks him into this Lucid world, and there's a bunch of other little things that happen along the way to get to the actually playing the game. But then he actually gets in and is able to play the game. So now that leads us into episode 4. Now, episode 4, I have highlighted camping in a nightmare. So this is actually a wooded. This goes into our forest wood area that we have. That will be a part of this whole theme. And we have Nightmare here, and I'll show you here who's going to be our. Oh, wrong one again. I'm bad at this today. So Nightmare here is going to be our themed boss for this one. So hence camping in a nightmare. And here's just a basic preview of some of the animations that have been pre-built onto Nightmare, just to kind of give you an idea of what the character looks like all the way around. The movements, these are obviously without any sort of actions, any spell effects, any extra stuff that would go into what it is that Nightmare does. So the one thing that I notice more than anything is that this awfully scary creature for a farming, or I'm sorry, a wooded area. There's the death fall. There's a couple of death falls, and a sitting area that's also a fun one. But I'm trying to make the minions as we go through actually kind of match the looks of not only the world around it, but the boss that has been infected by them through this. Now, I'm not 100% where to go from here. So this is where I am now kind of looking to you guys and hoping that some people here can actually help me get through this. Because, again, it would be very easy. We can just kind of copy and paste and change some things from one episode to the next. And that'll probably happen in some instances, but a game that is that kind of cut and paste truly does get annoying. I'm sure. I mean, you tell me if I'm wrong in that, but the sin.
Yeah, no, you're very right. Yeah.
There has to be an evolving storyline that happens with this, especially with the standard of this game.
Yes, you've got me such a thinking as you speak.
And I'm hoping that you're not the only one who's in thought as we go through this. Now, I'm hoping Slayer will be able to join us. I'm not sure. I know he has some stuff that he's doing right now. Personally, he said he might be able to make it in here to help with the creation of this. And I know Bodster is also going to be on his way. He's contacted.
I'm currently writing notes on my laptop as well.
So there's Nightmare again. So let me go ahead and pop over here. So the working title at this point I've called Camping in a Nightmare. And again, Nightmare is spelled Mare, and that would be this character's name. So it'd be more of a female character for sure. And then kind of sounding like a female Skeletor almost. But I gotta give a shout out to 3drt.com for the creation of this character. It is awesome. Here's some other works. They're really great at the horror look. They have some really cool stuff where you can even creature legs that you can add to something that you have. But there is just some more things there that this person has put together. Has a bunch of great 3D models here that I just want to, here, I'm going to go ahead and shout out. Let them kind of see. This is some of the things here that 3DRT has done on Sketchfab and uploaded there. So if it's something that works for one of the projects you guys are working on, by all means, give it a like. Even buy it for your game or project, whatever it is that you're working on, and you do you. But again, this is some really great stuff that this person has put together, or this group of people, I should say. Looks like it's a group of people. But now, again, I haven't spent a ton yet on characters. We are definitely getting to this point once we get past this. So going back into our storyboard. So I'm going to kind of start here up in the top right hand corner. You'll see the basic things that I have to actually add in the special features, and then it actually gives me the ability to print this out and then actually see everything, and I'll actually work to work out of and from as I transfer and all that. And again, it prints out very pretty, as you can see here, game design document that goes through everything that we've already talked about, has everything laid out, just paper, analog, old school for all you kids out there. Paper still exists.
I like that one.
Paper does still exist. I just want everybody to know that. It does work.
I've had an idea for a character. And it's a character you could possibly reuse, but in different ways.
How so?
Be someone who hands out puzzles, different puzzles that the bear has to solve, or the main character has to solve to progress further in the story.
I do like the puzzles of things, kind of giving it that Prince of Persia feel.
Yeah, and you can come from all sorts of angles with different types and styles of puzzles, so you don't repeat.
I do like that. I remember there's like games like Anthem that you'd have to go through certain levels, complete certain puzzles in order to get higher scores and unlock certain things.
Yeah.
And that actually, I do like that idea. That could be
because
part
I
of
like
those
puzzle
quests.
solving myself.
So yeah, I'm gonna write that one down. Actually,
I've got notes here on my laptop as well, so you can team view at any time.
Perfect. Yeah, dude. We can definitely go through there. Level ideas. Before I get too far. Because I know that, hopefully in the comment section, that we'll get some people here who are going to chime in and give us some ideas. Again, feel free.
Puzzle Maker and The Gentleman. Both I'll keep on working on them.
Yeah. Absolutely keep working on them. I've got, I'm going to have my multi-stream chat kind of plopped open here, so as people start joining the chat across all of the different platforms, we'll be able to kind of get it. Now, I know there's some delay for me, but for the most part, it's pretty good. So, puzzles.
Yeah, it's not too far off, yeah.
Yeah, I've got it set to low latency, so that way we're all pretty live.
Whoa.
So, here we go. Now I'm going to go ahead. Now let's go ahead and get started with this. So the first thing that happens is, so going into this section here, Luke has put in the game, and he gets pulled into the forest area, the forest village. Now, I'm curious as to what the name of that should be. So, oops. So Luke gets pulled into the forest.
Camera's just out of focus there, mate.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm looking over here and just in this weird spot for it.
Just so you're aware, that's all.
I'll get that taken care of. So, a good forest title. Now, I thought about paying some respects to games like DayZ that I have played, that I've spent lots of time in the forest. And I am not 100%. That, obviously I can't call it all kinds of stuff, but I was thinking about calling this world Cherno. it's not. It's mostly to pay an homage to that game, as a but I'm obviously apprehensive with the whole Russian thing. That sucks. And not to get political in any of this, it just sucks.
This for the woods.
The woods.
What this level is, the woods. Is that what this level is?
Yes. This is the forest area.
Yeah, I was trying to include. I was thinking something to do with howling. Going back to DayZ, one of the most scariest things when you first start playing is when you hear them wolves howl in the woods.
There you go. So we can call it Howling Hollow.
I was just thinking Howling Hollow.
Because it playing the old play on Sleepy Hollow. No, that's absolutely a fun. That'd be a fun play.
It still has that DayZ element that you want.
Well, and it has no real DayZ elements. There's no zombies or anything like that.
Yeah. I mean the Howling Woods.
Yeah. The Howling Woods, right? Yeah, and then the city can be Howling Hollow. Yeah, that's perfect. And so yes, so he gets pulled into this world now. I'll have to go through and conceptualize some characters and figure that out. There's obviously all kinds of characters that we can, characters and creatures that we can idealize and pull from and see what's going on there. See, I'm actually having, it's funny, I'm having this fun little bit of the audio from my desktop. So let me go ahead here and fix that pretty quickly.
My brain's going now. Whimpering Woods.
I'm sorry?
Whimpering Woods.
Whimpering Woods, that's a good one.
Have some like crying effects just faintly in the background as he's going through.
Yeah. Interesting. Where's my... Doesn't give me my doesn't give me a meter for my game. I'll figure that out later. So I apologize for any little blips that might pop through here. I'll have to get all that stuff kind of sorted. Let me go ahead and show you guys just some of the different things that Sketchfab has here. And Sketchfab is a great place if you are looking for 3D models of almost anything. Some of the stuff gets a little risque, and I do apologize for that if it does pop up there. Not my intent, but from real creations to modeled creations of things, like this is a great Easter egg to throw somewhere hidden that only your players that are really in depth and looking for things. Giant worm that I believe this is the giant worm from Mass Effect, if I'm not mistaken. But again, that's things that you can have in your own little 3D worlds that you might even just be doing for your own. This is a football men. I'm not 100% about this. This is probably something for, you can use these for commercials of different things. It's pretty amazing stuff that they have.
There's some nice art there.
Yeah, there's Ness. I mean, this is a baby Yoda Grogu. I'm curious if this is actually a 3D model or if this is just a 2D. See, look at this stuff.
Yeah, see that? Yeah, I was just looking at that one you looked at there.
That is great. really cool post effects, and you get all the levels and layers of this. So you can turn off post effects, you can turn off certain things and grab just certain things from there. So you don't necessarily have to use this look of it. You can just use any look of it. It looks like this guy has done some 3D rendering of some stuff in real life and transcribed that in, which is something that I don't have the ability to do or the know-how. And if I did, I could probably create a bunch of NPCs from nothing pretty quick. And I know, at least relatively quick. But I don't have that ability or know-how, so here we are on Sketchfab doing this. And again, just showing off what they have, what's there. It's great stuff, and I recommend anybody who's in the market for that kind of stuff, Sketchfab is to look. And I'll go ahead and I'll have to add descriptions and kind of stuff later on, but I will go ahead and get that added. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is let's go ahead and gear back to the storyline, because again, I keep getting sidetracked explaining some of these other things because everybody here should be relatively new to the game, so I don't expect anybody to really know what's going on as of yet. So here we go. Luke's been pulled into the next Lucid world, which is our second game, second boss. Second time we have to deal with this. So Luke's hoping that he can probably end this soon, but we'll see. And so I'm going to go ahead and I've been labeling these by episodes and then scenes in said episode. So scene 2 in this episode, obviously he's in the first one, he's not really sure what's going on. This one, he's a little bit more sure of what's going on. He's confidently brought himself into this world, knowingly brought himself into this world, so that way he can save his sister. So there's less of this curiosity of what he needs to do and more of a, all right, let's get this done type of mentality going into this. Still unsure because it's all still very new. It's only been 24 hours, really, like just a little bit. And so what I was thinking, and Buick, I don't know about you, but I was thinking maybe that somebody almost immediately runs up to him as if they saw him pop and appear out of thin air, hoping that they can help. Hoping that Luke can help. Almost out of sheer desperation.
Yeah. Sorry, that's my cat. Yes,
Okay, so this camper has approached Luke after seeing him appear out of thin air. The camper assumes that Luke is a good guy. So he goes in to try to help actually get this Luke character, this random camper, we still don't know who he is, to help save his fellow campers. So Luke with I'm gonna go ahead and turn my camera off just so that way you guys don't see me staring off at my other screens, because there's no fun in that. So one thing that he can that he ends up doing is so he runs over to help these people because Luke is kind of a helping type of person, especially because everything in his mind is leading towards saving his sister. And so as he goes through to save his sister, the this camper has approached. So now with that being said, let me make sure I have scene tagged this appropriately so I don't get lost in the story. So again, this stuff has I've found that labeling of all these things is more important than the creation itself, because otherwise you're creating this nonsense with no linear timeline. You end up having to go back and hopefully remember everything. That's never any fun when you have to maybe not remember things.
Oh yes, you're definitely doing it the right way.
So Luke decides to help, and he travels through the woods with this stranger. All right. So again, like I said, I'm basically going through these things here to help kind of create the main frame, and then some of the more loose things here will be like side quests.
The little stranger could be some sort of Boy Scout, which is the reason why he just assumes good.
Ah, that is actually. That's actually a great angle. I like that. Camper child. So that's why, because it's a kid.
Help everybody.
Yeah, it's a kid seeing another kid, who's athletic like Luke, and assumes that he can help. See, now that makes a lot of sense. So, in scene 5, Luke gets to the campsite to learn his new strange friend. Now I wonder if Boy Scouts is actually something that I can use. So instead of it being Boy Scouts directly, Scout Rangers.
Yes, yeah, that sounds good. Maybe he can help him at the camp to get some help back in return.
Right. Yeah, and he'd be a good ally to have, which is one of the reasons why Luke decides that he should just go and help them, because, allies in a strange world are always good things to have. So let's call them, for now, worldly minions, until we figure out a good name for Nightmare's minions that we have. Like the Mod Squad or something silly like that. Obviously we can't use that, but now, I'm gonna actually add into here on the note or description now, just to kind of give some context. So after saving them, they explain what happens.
I hate to be rude and interrupt, but I'm going to have to get myself off and walk my dog, mate.
Hey dude, not a problem. Thanks for helping out and sticking around.
Once I've walked my dog and I'm sorted and I'm in bed, I will rejoin the stream if it's still going.
Heck yeah, man.
Hey, well, I'll speak to you soon, mate. Thank
Absolutely.
You. Have a good one, and I'll speak to you again in about half an hour.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You have a good one. Actually, we've been streaming for about a few 40 minutes, so I'm going to give everybody about a 10-minute break. That way everybody can kind of get their stuff together. But Buick, we'll catch you on the flip side, man.
We'll speak to you soon.
Absolutely. Join the chat if you can't join back.
Oh, I will do, don't worry.
Absolutely, dude.
Goodbye, all.
so we're gonna go ahead and take a short intermission here, about 10 minutes, so then that way we can I can reset up here. I'm gonna use a bathroom break and just grab a drink and a snack. So you guys, I recommend everybody do the same. We'll be right back, and we'll go ahead and get this last episode, at least try to get a couple episodes here hammered out. This is going to be a little bit longer of a stream, but I'll do a little bit less talking about all this other stuff that we have going on, a little bit more writing of the story. Now again, don't really have anybody in the chat right now. But feel free. I mean, if you guys have storyline ideas, plot themes, I mean, all that kind of stuff, by all means, chime in. I'd love to hear from anybody, to see what it is that you'd want to see out of a video game. I mean, maybe you have a story that you've been wanting to tell. We can incorporate it. Who knows? So again, we'll be right back here shortly, and I will catch you guys very, very soon.
But you can make me go, unlocking all the memories of my new home. Ventilated echoes playing to and fro, back and forth, yeah. Caught some kids dancing in the alleyway. Crazy how the melodies began to play, yeah. Tell me how you feel it when you hear the lyric, yeah. My heart's in Stockholm. Now I never wanna go home. I left my heart in Stockholm. Now I never wanna go home. Shopping the girl, I brought a girl on my Vespa. She said I already told ya, yeah. I never dated a black guy. I said you're brown yourself. Let me offer help. Come on inside, where everybody knows your name. Everybody knows your name. Time to catch a flight, but you can make me go. Unlocking all the memories of my new home. Ventilated echoes playing to and fro, back and forth, yeah. Caught some kids dancing in the alleyway. Crazy how the melodies began to play, yeah. Tell me how you feel it when you hear the lyric, yeah. My heart's in Stockholm. Now I never wanna go home. I left my heart in Stockholm. Now I never wanna go home. Separate again. Sunlight that always stays in about the waterway. It's that sweet life, sweet life, sweet life. I never wanna go home, go home. I'm living in Stockholm, Stockholm. I never wanna go home, go home. I'm living in Stockholm, Stockholm. I never wanna go home, go home. I'm living in Stockholm, Stockholm. Yeah. Shut up, I get the bed, the body. Never get good, never get good, gotten, good, good. Good, 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 good. Bye, da, da, good, 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 good. Tide ain't coming yet, but I want water to my neck. Tide ain't coming yet, but I want water to my neck. I wanna drown inside this. I wanna drown inside this. Go down an eye, like I Captain. I ain't never had a vibe this vibrant. And but also shiny with that 3-eye vision. Take this moment, I'ma die inside it. I am pariah, I am Mariah. Words they carry, don't trust the silence. Gotta fill it all up, like to my phone screen, ultraviolet. This ultraviolence, probably need more milk, but it all spilled. Sit with my guilt inside it. Temper, don't throw a tantrum. Throw words at random, make an anthem. Spring came like frisbee, make it happen. Acting I'm not trapped in the swelling wave. Tide ain't coming yet, but I want water to my neck. Tide ain't coming yet, but I want water to my neck. For a low tide, pray for a low tide. I pray for a low tide. I pray for a low tide. I play the role, I'm a people pleaser. Who I am got lost in the speaker tweeter. Teeter-totter tween neo-soul prima donna and basic bitch feeder fodder. See and saw it like it's all past lives. I done lived and loved 100,000 conscious. It's all connected, we all some monsters. Snarl fangs out like we mapped the chomp, y'all. Raw hard beat down, I'm the man that smash bros. Don't slam no T-toes, just see stick hitting. Game 2, baby, no PS prisms. Might be a prison, all this sand around me. Hope I don't drown in the reef this week like it's all on my nose. But I hate the stench of low tide. Low tide.
Outside, a little bit high on the feeling. Can't seem to focus. In the corner of my best friend's sofa, you were getting buzzed on rum and cola. Wasn't brave enough yet just to talk to you. What's going on, guys? So it's Steven. We're back again. And we're actually going to do a little bit of some more. We're just going to hop right into doing some more of the storyboarding here. So as we just went through everything, we were just talking about episode 4. So Luke has met some strangers. He's helped them out. And now he's actually going to go through and complete a bunch of random quests. So he's going to create quest line. He's going to go from quest lines, 2 through a random order right now that we have not figured out. That'll be more pieces inside. That's a very sub storyline. That we're going to be creating here pretty quickly, pretty similar as to what happens here in episode 2, where he ends up finishing all of these quests and then finally getting to the final boss. So now we have we've now gotten to this point now. There's obviously going to be a lot more inside of these episodes, a lot more substance that we're going through now. Right now we're mainly focusing strictly on Luke's story and the main pieces that get us through this game from point A all the way to end game. I guess I should say from game start all the way to end game. So we're gonna go ahead and kind of keep it limited right now, and we'll go through everything once we get all of the creators in here and more of you guys chatting in, because I don't want to sit here and make
make a game that is supposed to be a community game without a community. It's pointless to make a game that we're not all a part of and say that it's a game we're all a part of. So I'll be taking in some of those types of, if you have quest lines, side lines that you guys end up coming up with for this, let's put it into a game. Your entire quest line could end up becoming the entire quest line for these worlds that we actually end up creating. So that is something that I absolutely want to incorporate. I think that's going to be so cool to know that like a story that I had written was going to actually end up on a game that's playable, that you can show off to your friends and all that. That they can get off of Game Pass and then play even to your line. That's something that I've always wanted to be a part of here, which is why we're here. I've always wanted to create a video game, and so what better time than the present? So from there, those quest lines will lead you through a series of different quests, very specific, a quest line very specific to that world, that line, and from there, then we will actually enter into the boss fighting area. So Luke will enter. He'll enter into the boss area. And let me just kind of double check this with what we have going on here. So Luke will head into the boss area. He's going to talk to some people. He's going to have some allies who give him some things along the way. He will fight Nightmare. There we go. Strange. Never had it give me anything like that. So I just wanted to double check that I wasn't screwing something up. So maybe that's what it is, because it's something very specifically labeled to another thing. Boss area in. And again, let me remember what we call it. So we call this Howling Hollow. Howling Hollow. Okay, so then from there, obviously, Luke will then battle our So, here we go. We will have things like this. So, we will hit our post fight. So we are in scene 8. So we'll hit our post fight. Now I think that Nightmare is going to be very, very different as far as Daddy Teddy is concerned, and Nightmare. So Daddy Teddy has a good and evil version. Nightmare itself is actually more of a demon creature that has been brought into the world, not inherent to the game world that we've been playing in. So that is why we need to so Nightmare, when that's finished, there's not going to be a conversation with them. It's actually going to go right into a defeat where them will then appear, and the conversation that will take place will be with the campers, the Ranger Scouts that they end up running into, and as well as a few other minor role characters that will actually be a part of this world. And again, we're gonna have different mechanics and different ways that each one of these worlds look and feel. And so that is going to make it very different from the original farming world that Daddy Teddy was inside of. So, and then we're also going to have, I mean, some characters that are completely out of the place of the worlds that they're in because they've been placed there by a character that's not supposed to be there anyway. So again, this is going to kind of have that feel of Ready Player One, I guess, in a way, mixed with a Lucid kind of feel to it. So where you kind of bounce into these synthetic worlds that are digitally created, yet lucid, and a part of your own reality as well, but not a part of your reality. So them will then appear here. Let's see here. We've got scene. Here we go. So scene 9 is here. And then, you know what? I think that's actually going to end up as a part of this scene here. So, them appears, and from here, let's see. Obviously, he's very frustrated at Luke. He doesn't say much. He stares. Whoa. It shows Luke his sister, Susie, for only a moment. So then will then disappear. There we go. So then that will be a part of this scenario here. So that's Deep Woods, but we have called this, oh gosh, Howling Hollow. So let's go ahead and get that actually corrected. Deep Woods and Howling Hollow. Deep Woods. And I keep the Deep Woods in there just so that way right now, as this all is still very fresh and new, it actually gives me the ability to kind of sort through with the files that I have until everything gets labeled appropriately. So we have the farm, and we'll call this, I've actually was working with the title, the Mick Teddy Farm. So obviously, because then, you know, Teddy will actually be a little bear farmer for this community whenever he's not infected by them. A disgruntled farmer, but a farmer nonetheless. So, going back in here to our scenes, we're gonna go ahead and keep pushing to finish out this level here. So scene 8, scene 9 will be the post conversation. And then as we ended episode 2, them appears and shows up with his hostage, and then Luke will end up back in the real world. And I'm still been trying to figure out exactly what port we end up using for doing this, but I think overall we're going to have them do this through like a portal to exit this world. That's one thing that I think will actually make this work a little bit more fluidly. And then he will then wake up the next day as if everything was more of a dream. So just to help create that and put that down on writing. So Luke leaves via a portal. Next day. So that gets us into the episode 5, which is titled currently What's Next. And I think that there's, and again, if anybody has a good idea for somebody who's been coming in and out of dream worlds to be back again, back to your own reality. Obviously, this one's just the first time that happens is called Back to Reality. Pretty simple. And then I guess we can do, well, right now we'll work off the title What's Next for this one. I actually believe that this might be a better scenario. So if we call this episode 5 Back to Reality, we can call and then I'm gonna do this from an old movie of my own that I'm a big fan of. My wife's not, but I am, and we're gonna go ahead and just call this one Clerks. As he runs into the game store clerk that's going to help him get that together. Now, the Wild West town, as we showed everybody yesterday, it still needs a lot of work, but I think that I'm going to really work off the title Dead Red as an homage to Red Dead, of course, being an old western type of town. And then we're going to have our let's see here. So I'm also going to point in the bosses that we have, just so that way as we get deeper into this story, we don't actually lose track of who has been placed and looked at already. What have I done? That's right. Before I do any more damage, let me go ahead down here and start keeping this going. So then episode 7, we'll go to episode 8, episode 9, episode 10. And this is just based off of a roughing that I have. Let's see, let's delete Act 1 as we don't really have an Act 1. Alright, so now we will go into the, let me just want to try to label ahead of some of this so that way we can get a reality. So after then completing through our Old West, we will then come back to reality. And I'm going to actually coin this one Back to the Future. Obviously from the movie Back to the Future. That's always a fun one. There's at this moment no DeLorean. And again, it's a big at this moment. There's no DeLorean. Doesn't mean that can't change. Because who wouldn't want to drive around a DeLorean and not be in Grand Theft Auto where you just get shot up the first 5 seconds that you're there? Because that's what that game has turned into. Just chaos. Monster chaos. I cannot wait for number 6. just being real with everybody. I can't wait for something new and different to come out where the game hasn't just been completely hacked away by actual hackers. And again, there's good hackers, there's bad hackers. I mean, you know, obviously we all don't like the guys who hack just to mess with everybody else. I'm thinking, and I believe it's usually just, we won't go into that, but we know we don't like you. And we all, I think you don't like you, but that's fine. We're here to help. Mental health is a real thing. So we are going to then switch gears. We're going to actually create the level titles here to help create. So there is our Wild West world. We've got a forest world, fantasy world. So what's left is our fantasy world, our Wild West world. Actually, that's been used. So we have our fantasy world, and then we have our what else do we have? Maybe I'm getting. Am I forgetting? I'm probably forgetting which one it is. Which it'd be lovely if some of my guys helping me out were inside of here, but that's okay. Let's see here. The content. We've got Fantasy Village. Oh, Halloween World. That's right. Now Halloween World is probably going to be switched out, and I think I'm going to end up switching that out with our City of Brass to kind of go into that, kind of give it even that Assassin's Creed kind of vibe. Actually, that would be a great place to come through in the Wild West. I think actually no. Let's do our Fantasy Village. I think is what we're going to be working on next. So from there, let's see. There's also, man, so titling these things are a big part of my how I think as far as the creations of the storylines as they go. I mean, obviously they should match, but and sometimes they don't, sometimes they do, just depending on what it is that you're a part of. So I think from here we're gonna actually go. Yeah, I think we're gonna go to our Fantasy Village. Oh, and so there's also a couple of characters that we haven't. There's White Noise, there's Shade. So White Noise is going to be a part of the the Western world, Dead Red. So we don't actually have a character yet, at least rendered. I've got a 2D concept of him, but not anything 3D yet. So I'm going to be needing a 3D creation of that. Now I'm probably going to end up going through Sketchfab like I have for some of these other characters. But I'm also absolutely willing to go through and take somebody else's creations. I mean, if you have yourself a character that's already built that you think would fit this video game, by all means, I mean, submit it, and I'd love to check it out and see if we can make it work, and even put it into the game, because there's still a lot of characters. You can always make a 3D rendering of yourself and give that a try, and we need NPCs in both the real world and not. So that to have yourself even put into a video game would be great. So the let's go ahead and then let's try to finish out the leveling here. So we've gone Back to the Future, and then we're gonna do our fantasy. So what would be a good Merlin? Nah. Grumpy Gus is our wizard's name. Now, Grumpy Gus, trying to figure out a way to incorporate a Grumpy Gus into our into this. Now that's actually not as easy as I thought it would have been. So let's see here. Well, let's see here. We'll call it. It's not spelled right, is it? Medieval Merlin. Is there an E? I actually can't remember if there's an E at the end of Merlin. That's okay. And then so from there, we're going to be fighting Grumpy Gus. And then we'll also have another snap back to reality, because again, you have to go in and out of reality to earn money, save and earn money to be able to join and buy the next game, so you can save your sister. So from there, we're nearing the end here, whereas we have our last world, which is going to actually be our not our Halloween world, but it's going to be, I think, a more Middle Eastern, ancient Middle Eastern type of world. So we'll call that. I'm going to call that one Sultan's Keep. When he comes back to reality, so at this point, everybody's a little concerned. We've been a couple of days, nobody's seen Susie. She was supposed to be gone for a weekend trip, and now everybody's realizing that she's not been back. So now everybody's concerned. As Luke has been trying to talk to people about it, nobody's really listening to him. Now everybody's kind of listening to him because they're really noticing that he's on the verge of it. So what ends up happening here is he ends up going back after the Sultan's Keep. He's finished his final boss before them actually ends up becoming there, and becoming a character that you will be confronting from this point through the end game, as we're now reaching that point of it. So through here, so now so at this point, he's going to be pretty much violently snapped back into this world, where everything is going to be... It's going to be... not reality. Reality. So... the question mark is actually, this is going to be a Lucid version of his own world. All the different things that you fought throughout, obviously not bosses, but all the other things that you fought throughout the game are going to end up showing up in the real world, and actually something that everybody will be either aware of or not aware of, that you'll have to fight through in order to actually save your sister. So he will then go through a bunch of different quests to actually go and to unlock the ability to save his real world and eventually save his sister, because he knows that at this point he's getting close. He's maxed up. At this point in the game, you should be pretty close to leveled up all the way. The characters are all going to be much harder. All that kind of stuff is going to be the reality of this world that you're in. So now in episode 12, that will be almost directly an entire episode dedicated to doing all the things you need to do in order to fight them. It'll be a long them fight scene through a world of things with multiple fights, and that's kind of my original conception of it. Now, I'm not sure that will stick, but it's at least right now the current conception. So this I was just going to title just them. And then the final chapter was going to be called Back Together Again. So, giving everybody just the basic run through of where we're at. So we have school's out for summer, Old McTeddy. Sultan's Keep. Now that one is another character that you guys have not seen yet. That character is called Shade. So we have Deddy Teddy Nightmare, White Noise, Grumpy Gus, Shade, and them. Those are our main evil characters. Them is their leader. Everybody else is the bosses that exist below them. Now, one mechanic that was brought up to me was having different bosses that take the place. That is actually something that we could end up doing, but we'll probably, if this thing ends up taking off, it will actually be more in the a second game, because that's we don't have the character created. I mean, we're already having enough trouble right now just trying to get our characters in order. Now, if we end up getting a flood from you guys of different characters that actually end up working, we might end up just doing that kind of thing where it makes it like Lord of the Rings or the new Assassin's Creed, where you have different mercenaries that take the place of the last, and you can end up fighting your way up the ranks of that kind of stuff. But it doesn't feel, that kind of mechanic doesn't feel true or real to the style of game that it is, in my opinion. But that's also because I don't think I've figured out a way to make that work. So and then in the end game, we're gonna actually try to create some end game materials that that actually will make the game playable, similar to like Division, where you have this Lucid real world that you can snap in and out of to actually fight harder enemies, and you can team up with your friends and fight these enemies and do different like raid quests and that kind of stuff that will end up existing, that you like go through different portals and fight those raid quests and do all that kind of stuff. So that's one mechanic that we are trying to actually add in for more of an end game type of thing, so that way there is some replayability and some fun beyond just the game itself. That would be ideal, personally. But we'll see how this ends up. We'll see how this ends up playing out. So piece by piece. And again, feel free to comment into the chat. We're always watching, always looking for it. We want to see what it is that you guys have to say. So all right. So now we've gone back into reality. We're gonna end up I'm gonna end up trying to figure out a way to make that all work. So here is the rest of what we have going into this. The next episode of this, as we're already an hour and a half into this, I'm sure you guys are already tired of talking about it, tired of hearing about it, if you've even stuck around this long. And I do appreciate it if you have, sincerely. I mean, gratefully appreciate it. So let me go ahead here. I'm going to put this stuff away. Let me switch over here. So then that way we can actually have a conversation. So again, I sincerely appreciate if you guys stuck around this long. We're going to go ahead and continue on with episode 5, 6, 7 through 13 in the end game. In the next episode, probably 2. I'm hoping to hear from you guys to see what it is that you want to see in this game. If you have stories, if you have all that stuff, please shoot it out. Let us know, because we can't put it in if we don't know. So all you gotta do is just let us know, and we are absolutely watching and listening, because again, this is a community game. This is something that we all want to be a part of. We want you a part of, and it's something that I think we can all thoroughly enjoy when this is all said. So anyway, thank you guys for sticking around. There's going to be more episodes of creating the Lucid stream. Following up next is going to be episode 2 of our stream, where we're going to continue on and hopefully take your guys' ideas and our ideas, put them together, and make the rest of this story. And then once we move on to the story, we're going to actually go on to level creation, and trying to kind of incorporate these ideas that we have from the story into the into the actual world. And then from there, we'll actually have our worlds, our characters, our main characters at least, and we'll be able to we'll actually be able to start putting them, placing them, take some photos, put together a game design document, and then from there we're going to start working on mechanics and continuing the process, so that way we can end up with a nice, polished, finished game when this is all said and done. So again, thank you guys so much for sticking around. My name is Steven, also known as Noodles. This is the Lucid Game Creators channel, and we appreciate you guys being here. Thank you.
Without any thought, I keep moving on. I don't even care if my soul is gone. So many words that I should have said. Not concerned about how to live instead. Just open your eyes and take my advice. Stop rolling the dice and just compromise. It's the chance of your life. Okay, try to be brave. You have so much to save. Take control of your own life. Right now, every mistake makes you feel like a fake. Take control of your own life. Nothing in life is good. Tired and misunderstood. I would fight if I could. If I believed I should. Okay, try to be brave. You have so much to say. Take control of your own life. Okay, try to be brave. You have so much to say. Take control of your own life. Right now, every mistake makes you feel like a fake. Take control of your own life. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Ooh, I've been on the flex since flex zone. Neighborhood all in your eardrums. I ain't never scared like Bone Crush. Boy, I got God, don't fear none. My line busy, take no calls. Feels like I don't have no flaws. Snakes in the grass, cut those off. Yo, squad shady, my bros raw. No breaks, we go, 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 go. Throw shade, that's a no, 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 no. Go high, go low, low, low. Like spinning in a 644. Cash money like 504. Ball like AD24. No sleep, need more, more, more. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Ooh, I'm a real one, my day ones. Try speak up, can't say none. Try dig dirt, there ain't none. I make the money that save up. 10 to 80, my savings. Take to the top on the base one. New car, race on. Fast lane, pace on. Where the booyah, that's a flex. Not human, I ain't from another planet. I'ma teleport, might vanish. I'ma wake up, do damage. Jordan number 7, East Bordeaux. Working all night, need more though. I remember nights I was poor though. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus.